Greetings, all of our friends out there. Just wanted to kind of have a few minutes to give a welcome and greeting as we enter into our Antioch Network gathering. My role as international director is primarily a role as a friend to the different team members of Antioch Network. The passion that I really carry is to help us maintain the different giftings and callings that God has given us as a family, as a network of leaders. And those are primarily to continue to fulfill the different callings that God has given each one of us as a leader, but to do that in the context of a community of friends, a community that is a family, a community that is committed to care for one another, and to really make it a priority to spend time in prayer and worship and fellowship and to hear from God together. And so that's why we gather once a year. Of course, we find ways to be together throughout the year, whether it's in smaller meetings, whether it's different ones of us visiting others in their homes, or going to find ways to partner in different works where we can collaborate. But these yearly gatherings are really an intentional practice that we have created so that we can maintain those convictions of being a family and being friends and making sure that we're caring for each other and protecting one another. Because as we all know, as those who are called to initiate new works, it can be easy to get so passionate and so overwhelmed with the different callings and really opportunities in front of us that we can lose touch. And we need to be reeled back in and brought back into that community. Actually, a couple years ago, it was a deep conviction in my heart that historically, when we had these yearly gatherings, we would come together as individual leaders, but not as families. And so last year in Istanbul, we started kind of a new beginning of saying, let's really view ourselves as a family of leaders, and in so actually have our gatherings be a place where we can bring our families, and our whole families can be ministered to and cared for. Obviously, in the context of COVID, where we're going to be virtual, we won't have that same luxury to be together as with our whole families, but still see the importance of being together as leaders. And so as we enter into this time, there's going to be amazing teachings that will really highlight kind of the role of Antioch, the apostolic calling and the prophetic calling. But more importantly, there's going to be times for us to break up in small groups where we can process. Scripture tells us that when we hear a word from the Lord, that it is really important that that word is tested, that word is processed. And so these small groups are going to be opportunities for us to say, what are we hearing from God through these teachings? And listening to one another to further unpack what we're hearing from God. But also these small groups are going to give context to the conviction that we need to minister to one another. So we're going to have opportunity during the small groups to pray for one another and really just to care for one another. And so that's going to be a real important part of our time. And the other component of our time is that we really want to welcome guests and friends of Antioch Network. Over the years, we've recognized that in these gatherings that God ordains different guests to join us that have something that we need as a network. And so again, we trust that you, our guests here, are brought from the Lord and have something to impart to us. And so we just want to, again, welcome you and trust that not only will you hopefully receive something from us, but we'll receive something from you. And also that the relationships are built will continue to further a greater networking and greater purposes for God's kingdom to be expressed among us. And so again, just want to thank you for joining us in these days. You're going to hear in a little bit from Danny, just again unpacking the theme and how we came and discerned this theme. And then later, Amy is going to bring us a short teaching. But again, on behalf of the executive team and Antioch Network, just want to say, so blessed that you're taking the time these next 3 days to seek the Lord together and trust that he is going to meet with us. So thank you, and look forward to being with you on the calls later.